Hey, welcome everyone. Today we'll be taking two critical topics, which is part of how to work on our soul plan. This is something which is applicable to all, doesn't matter your age or what stage of life you are in. So far we went through, we learned, okay, what is emotional baggage, how to identify emotional baggage. Now, very critical thing is how to fix. And when we talk of fixing emotional baggage, a very big factor comes detachment and also non-interference. Now, we talked about soul. The purpose of soul is to experience emotions. That's why in human incarnation, we have whole setup. We have family, we have friends, we have colleagues, because that's what gives us emotions. At the same time, these emotions gives us a lot of issues in life, or very commonly we just call karmas. So how to be blissful, how to stay healthy, release those stuck emotion is one factor, is detachment. The question is why detachment and how much detachment we are talking about. So these two factors are critical to understand. So we all seek various forms of attachment, and various form of attachment includes, some of them is love, friendship, job, business, doesn't matter, it's your own business, you're working for someone, relationship. These are the factors that really makes our life interesting. This makes who we are. But along with this, what we get is attachment. These attachments often become the cornerstone of our existence. We start defining ourselves as, as a part of relationship, as a part of your work, country, society, a lot of attachments. Nothing wrong in it. It comes with it. But the why we are concerned about attachment, if they are so good, everything is good, life is good. As we get attached to more and more people around us, to different things around us, we risk losing our inner peace. The more we attach, the more we risk. Now, your whole sense of self and even your life purpose become deeply attached to it. So these attachments starts in our mind defining our life's purpose. And we think that's what it is. My job is the purpose of my life. My family is my purpose of life. My country, my society is the purpose of my life. And so we get more and more attached to our attachments. What happens when we are more and more attached with these attachments is we don't even see the obvious. We have something right in front of us, but we don't see. So when you are overly attached, and now overly is a very, sometimes could be debatable, because how do you define overly attached, right? And one of the thing is, suppose sometime you're watching news, and or somebody's maybe reading, you don't know who were the people, right? Whatever the news is, whether some accident, whether some incident happened, you will have a feeling that, okay, something bad happened, but the impact may be less. If you know the person, then the impact will be more. Why? Because you have some attachments. But if it is one of your family member or very close friend, the impact will be much, much more. Why? Because now you are more attached to the person. And more impact means more impact on your health, more emotions, deep emotions. So what happens is, first, as a body and mind, we deny. We stay in denial mode. And we overlook any negativity, flaws in my situation, in my plan. I'm a student, I'm planning to take some particular course, a particular university or whatever, or I'm looking for a job. To me, that is the best. I've planned everything and I don't want to see anything else. If anybody even comes and say, hey, don't join that particular company or don't take this career, there are issues with it, it may be very difficult for you to handle. Or all of a sudden, you wanted to take particular university, at the last moment, you don't get admission, you have to go somewhere else. Now it may be very hard because you were heavily invested in that idea, in that planning. You had decided, no, I'm going for this course, this university. Now, last moment, something happens. Sometimes we are not able to accept it. So what happens in these scenarios? Why all these things are really influencing our life? Because we think loving someone means to solve all the problems, all of their problems. If you're talking about your parents, they may be aged, and you think it is your responsibility to solve all their problems, their health, their mental peace, emotions, everything. If not, we feel guilty. You are in different city, you are not able to do whatever you wanted. You meet them once a year and you are guilty. Why don't I meet them 3 times or 4 times in a year? So that I can do this for them, I can do that for them. Because you want to solve their problem, their issues in life. You want to make their life better in any way we can. It could be your child. You want to decide the career, the university, the course, who the person should get married to, who they should be friends with, who should they not be friends with. All kinds of things we are trying to make decisions in their life. In my mind, I'm helping the person. In my mind, I'm making their life better. So what's the problem in doing this? Because the issue is here, I'm losing myself. I'm not working my own soul plan. I'm just trying to fix problem in others' life. So is this love or dependency? So when I'm 24 hours just trying to fix problems in others' life, making their life much better, smoother, happier, in my mind, I'm doing that. Whether it happens or not, I don't know. Because most of the time, kids will tell you that you interfere too much in my life. So what is the point? You did not take care of yourself. Kids are saying you are interfering too much. You lose on both sides. You try to force your parents that why don't you do this, why don't you do that, when they're senior, retired, later stage of their life, and they feel you are interfering too much. And in that, you are losing yourself too. So is detachment against the human nature? It may seems like that detachment means we are going against the typical human characteristic, which is love, compassion, all those things. But actually, it's quite the opposite. It is not against the basic human nature. Detachment does not mean we go against our basic fundamental characteristics of being human. It is not about cutting off from life, but in fact embracing life in its full scope. It could be up and down, it could be, good and bad, whatever way we describe it. So it's not that emotionally I'm disconnecting from the rest of the world. We are not saying go to Himalayas, live alone, right? This is about living in family life, yet how to be detached. You have to understand that emotional well-being is not just dependent on your own environment. And this is critical to understand. So the fear doesn't come in you that, oh my God, that means I have to go away from my family, my friends, my colleagues. I have to be indifferent. No, no, no. You have compassion. You have the basic human characteristic. It's just that we are defining some boundaries here. Now, detachment does not mean you give it all. Just give it up and leave it. We are not saying just give up on your parents, on your kids, friends, families, colleagues. No. It does not mean that you should own nothing. But it means that nothing should own you. That's what it's important here. There is nothing wrong. You have some materialistic expectation. You want a house, a car, nothing wrong in it. But if that house, that car, that job, that relationship owns you, then now there is a problem. That means you are defined by that. Your job defines you. Your relationship defines you. Then there is a concern because now you are losing yourself. So what it means, you have to be clear about that. There are joyful people and there are miserable people. That's possible if you categorize in two. There will be people who are always happy. There are people who are always whining, always complaining. But there are no good people and there are no bad people. Sometimes, we'll say, oh, how good he is. He's always smiling. And how bad he is. He's always, whining. No, it's not a question of good or bad. It's a question of their characteristic, their behavior, their pattern, that whether it's a joyful people or miserable people. So detachment is not asking you to give it up all. It just means that you give up the power these things have over you, your daily life, your whole life. So nothing owns you. You can own anything. Don't let anything be so powerful that it governs your life, it dictates your life. You lose your identity. That is what is most important. So why we are talking about detachment? Because it improves your emotional well-being. No longer these things are governing your life. Your overall quality of life will be better. Your inner peace will be better. It will improve. That's why we talk about detachment. And if you can influence all this, you can say that, it's like becoming superhuman, isn't it? If you can improve quality of life, if you can improve inner peace, if you can improve emotional well-being without taking any medicine, no pill, nothing, it's in your hand. Isn't it like a magical wand that you have? You can become anyone, you can do, you can, ask anything and you get it in your life. That's the best thing. So please pay attention. We'll see a short video. Don't overanalyze or anything. Just enjoy the short video. Okay. Second here.
This is an awareness test. How many times does the team in white pass the ball? If you answered 13 passes, you are correct. But did you see the moonwalking gorilla?
So, any one of you who did not see the moonwalking gorilla? You can raise your hand or just indicate. Because that's what happens. And don't think you did anything wrong. We are all like this. Things are in front of us, we don't see it. And that is why we are talking about detachment. We stay in denial mode. We stay in our own overthinking, overanalyzing, over-attached mode. That so obvious thing which is right in front of us, we don't see. And that is why we are talking about detachment. So that you see the obvious, you see what's happening in our life. You work on your soul plan. So detachment allows you not to take everything personally. Sometimes it happens you are, whether in office or home or some party, and if somebody is smiling at you, all of a sudden we think, oh my God, did I do something wrong? Or is it something wrong with my dress I'm wearing? Or the person may be smiling at whatever, maybe a person behind you or beside you or something else, just looking in that direction. All of a sudden we start thinking all what could go wrong. We take things personally. If somebody says something, we take personally. Anything is said, suppose it's a team setting. The whole team, there is some comment and you take everything personally. Why? Because of our habit of taking everything too seriously, too deeply, everything we are so much attached. We cannot control others' reaction. However, your own action, reactions, your own behavior is in your control. You cannot control the environment. Rain, snow, heat, it will come. Traffic, some incident or accidents on the road or otherwise, flights, train, bus, car, doesn't matter what, there will be time to time some issues. You cannot control them. How you react is certainly in your hand. So don't get upset with others' behavior. It's not a reflection of you. And that is why we talk about detachment. Otherwise, anything and everything, and we take personally, and we start building our own stories. We start building our own, that, okay, if he said this, I will say this, or if he does this, I will do that. Those kind of stories we start building up. We get upset without even anything happening. We are just predicting. We are expecting this may happen because we are taking everything on us. With detachment, it allows you to maintain your self-worth, self-esteem, self-respect, everything. Because now you are in control of yourself. Not only your action reactions, but also what you feel about yourself. You're not degrading yourself. When you're glued to someone, you always want their validation for everything you do. Like a toddler. The child is small. If child is doing something new, start walking, start playing with toys, very frequently you may observe that the child is looking to the parent, mother or father, whoever is there. What happens nowadays? Social media has really impacted us big way. We get so much attached. You post certain things and now you're waiting how many likes you get, how many comments you get, how many times it is forwarded. Are people appreciating my post or not? And we decide whether I'm good or I'm bad, whether my work is good or bad, whether I'm whatever I have posted, how, or whether my own work depends on how many reactions I get from the social media. Your opinion, your dream, voice in all matter, feeling, dislike, they are as important as their everything get mixed up. You lose your identity and just governed by others' opinion, others like, others dislike. No, you should decide based on what you think and not the validation from others. But when we are attached so much in whatever it is, whether it's work, university, whether it is relationship and all, that we want their validation. Now, true love is about acceptance as is. Acceptance does not mean the way I feel or the way I want. True love is not about control. Whether it's parents, kids, friends, neighbors, doesn't matter. I have to accept them as is. It's not like I like doing it this way. If you do this way, I love you. If you don't do this way, I don't love you. Well, then it is about control, not about love. In my mind, I may be thinking is my true love, but that's totally wrong. So, what happens? Love is a delicate balance between attachment and detachment. Important thing is both souls should stay independent. Then it's true love. If you are trying to control the other soul, how can one soul can be better than the other soul? Soul, they're both energy, pure energy. In human form, one can be elder, younger, wiser, or whatever. But at the soul level, we don't say this soul is better than the other soul. So, what happens is they meet, but they don't dominate the other. That's the pure soul's behavior. So what happens is when we are trying to dominate, we are trying to control, we lose the true characteristic of a soul. So we have to detach from the past experience. So our present is seen, with totally open eyes, not like, we just saw the moonwalking gorilla. Otherwise, your past, your biasness, prejudice, they will hold you hostage for your whole life. There is a career, there's a profession, we call them archaeologists. For them, the past is extremely important. I get it. Because their whole life they're dealing with the past. Archaeologists means they will go, they will dig, very slowly to take stuff out from the earth, which has been there for hundreds, thousands, or more than thousands of years. But we as a person, we should not be stuck with our past. Live in the present, respect the other soul as is. We try to say, I don't like this person. I don't like this person. It's all my way or highway. That's not true love. True love means I will let you be a soul, and I am a soul means I will let myself also as a soul. Yes, I want to work on my soul plan, but at the same time, I should allow you to work on your soul plan too. Again, if we take example of your elderly parents and we try to tell them, I know what is good for you, do it my way. Well, they have their own soul plan or own characteristic, own personality, own liking, disliking. You have to respect your child. You're trying to tell everything, no, do this way, that way, and whatnot. So the important thing is coexist, accept the person as is. You can say, oh, I'm always before time. I'm always planning my work, and look at you. And the child says, well, I don't like, I'm okay even if I'm at the last moment. And you're always telling the person, no, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, because that's what as per me is wrong. But as per the other person may have a different working style, may have different characteristic. You have to accept as is. Don't control love. Love means accept the other soul. Aham Brahmasmi. You are part of the universe. The other soul is also part of the universe. Now, detachment doesn't mean that we ignore the past. We just talked about, don't be an archaeologist, always digging, digging, digging. Yeah, we are not ignoring. In fact, on the contrary, we have to face the emotions. Remember, the only thing we have learned from the history is that we have not learned anything. So face the emotion, deal with them now, then after a decade, after 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, and you're still angry with the person that, oh, at that time you said this, you did that to me. No good. Take the bull by horn. Deal with them now rather than later. Deal with your emotions and let them go. Emotions are the basic reason soul is here for. Emotions makes us feel like human, and that's it. But you don't have to hold them forever. They are a must. That's true. But it does not mean you have to hold it forever. So, how to do detachment? One is acceptance. Accept without guilt, fear, shame, etc. Move on after you have learned your lesson. Don't be attached even if you did something. I couldn't go there and help the person, or why did I say this to the person? I could have avoided. Okay, we have talked about forgiveness. There is a way, but move on. Live your life free from any burden of the past. Keep forgiving yourself, keep forgiving the other person. Accept as is. Your soul plan, what others did to you, you don't know. Maybe you requested them to do with you. You did something to someone. How do you know? Maybe the other person requested as a part of the soul plan that do this to me so that I learned this. detach from your different engagement, whether it is work, office, family, divide the time. I know you have to sleep too, but as a rule of thumb, you can divide 8, 8, 8. Okay. So you can say, I need to be for myself, I need to be for my family, and I need to be for my society. You cannot say whole 24 hours I'm giving to my spiritual work. It is good, but not good enough, because now you're neglecting the family, you're neglecting the self or society, depends where you are working. So divide time for family, time for society, time for yourself. You need all three. And then you regain freedom. So this is extremely important that we understand that it's not that I'm just one, just me, or always for others, not the family, or just family, not doing anything for yourself and not doing anything for people. So divide between three. And to regain freedom, open up your mental and emotional space, because we are social animal. That's for sure. So that you have to be clear. And the more we do over and over again, you learn better. And part of it, look inside you. Do you have a goal? Doesn't matter, professional, personal. Do you know what gives you true happiness? When will you be happy? Somebody says, oh, when I do this, I'm happy. Or when I do that, I'm happy. And do you know where is the finish line? You want something good, but where is the finish line? Is it fixed or a moving target? A lot of us do not understand the difference. And we end up doing something like this. We think my target is right in front of me, and the target keeps moving. It's not a fixed target, it's a moving target. Doesn't matter how fast I go, the target is never within my reach. So understanding is very critical. And once you understand, then it is much easier to fix the issue. Don't be in this scenario. Otherwise, the whole life, we don't realize, we miss the opportunity to stay blissful, stay happy, and we don't even understand where am I going wrong. You should know, you should have goals, nothing wrong. You should have clear goals, nothing wrong. You should know, when will I be happy? When will I say, yes, I'm successful, I've achieved my goal? If there is no end line, then doesn't matter what you do, you are always unhappy. So don't make it as a moving target. The second very critical thing after detachment is non-interference. Non-interference means I'm not interfering in others' life. And when I'm not interfering in others' life, I will not allow others to interfere in my life too. And it goes hand in hand with detachment. They go very well together. You understand both together, you will achieve both very quickly, with less effort, less pain. So we may know more due to our age than my kid. But that doesn't mean that I can look down at my child and say, hey, I know more. Well, okay, my age, I've gone through a lot of things. I've got opportunity. When the child at that age may know same, more, less, we don't know. But more than that, we don't know what the person's soul plan is. What's the purpose of life? Maybe for me, it was to learn. Maybe for other person is to stay in the lack of knowledge, lack of wealth, lack of whatever. So rather than saying what is right, what is wrong, understand the big picture. Most of the people don't know what their soul plan is. What is the purpose of life? They don't even know such topic exists. If they don't know their own soul plan, their own purpose of life, how can you know other soul plan and others' purpose of life? If I don't know, then how can I understand the other person? I'm saying go right. This is the shortest route. But someone else may have decided to go left for a reason. I don't know the reason, so I'm always blaming the other person. You're going the wrong way. How do I know that is the wrong way for the person? My perspective, it may be a wrong way. For others' perspective, that may be the right way. So we end up interfering due to society pressure, peer pressure, or sometimes ignorance or lack of understanding, just because you don't know what you don't know. We just want to follow the trend. We just accept the norm of the society. Society says, oh, these days, this particular career is in high demand. Everybody goes in that direction. After 5 years, something else comes. Everybody goes in the other direction. Follow your heart. Don't interfere. Don't try to force things. Because we are trying to put money first, happiness later. We are trying to put society first and our own soul plan, our own happiness, purpose of life second. It should be the reverse. Put your happiness first, money later. You first, society later. Because your happiness only you can define, no one else can. I can define with respect to money, with respect to, the social norms and all. But only you can define what will really make your heart sing. Remember, we talked about that before. Only you can define. I cannot tell what your heart will like or can make you sing. We should not even force others that, hey, there is something called soul plan, purpose of life. You must know and you must follow. Don't force them. We don't know the soul's maturity level. There are different levels of souls. Some may be infant, baby, who knows, mature souls. You may be mature. You are supposed to know, great. There may be infant soul. Maybe they're not supposed to reach that level in this incarnation. So why are we forcing them? Soul may have planned to experience an emotion that we call suffering. Your plan may be to take care of someone, health-wise, emotion-wise, whatever. Someone else's plan may be to receive the care, receive the help. That does not make you good and the other person bad. You both are following your soul plan. There's no right or wrong. So the question is, if you understand, then how to stop interference. So control your urge to give unsolicited advice. This is one free advice phenomena you see all around you. You say something and people start giving you advice, free advice. Whether the person does that or follow that or not, we don't know, but advice you will get free. And we give advice based on your own experience, your own understanding, without understanding the other person. And that's why most of the advice that we receive are really not effective. Unless the person really takes everything into consideration and then advise. It is just a reflection of who they are, not who you are. Stay away from gossip. A lot of time is spent, whether in your personal setting, colleagues, work, public transit, a lot of gossips. If you keep interfering in others' life, just think how you would feel when others interfere in your life. Very simple mechanism. One line can save you a lot of trouble. Anytime you feel the urge of giving advice to others, just feel how you would feel when someone comes and gives you advice for every small thing in your life that you do. No pain, no gain. Let them make mistakes. They will learn. Yes, if it is life-threatening, if it is, certain things, obviously you don't let your young child, 5 years, here is the key of my car, go and drive and learn the hard way, make mistake and learn. No, of course, we are not talking about those things. But if your child who's in grade, whatever, say 10, 11, 12, and they want to make a decision what subjects they want to pick, what career they want to make, give them some freedom. Let them see what their heart says. Why, as a parent, we want to tell them what subject, what career, what university they should pick. After the course, which job, which company, what kind of work they want to do. Let them listen to their heart. Which person to get married to, let them listen to their heart. Which city they pick to work in. Give them some freedom. Not that every small thing we are interfering in others' business. Doesn't matter how wise you are, doesn't matter how wealthy you are, doesn't matter anything. Interfering is never positive unless it is requested. Means if someone requests your advice, absolutely. Without that, we are interfering. Certain things you feel, yeah, it could be unsafe, the person may not be aware, you can advise. Person doesn't listen, maximum one more time. Don't go third time. Now it is your problem. Once, maximum twice, and then let the person decide. So, if you are able to detach, you will be able to non-interference role you can play in this state you can live. Once you start non-interference, you will be able to detach easily. So, once you start, they both help each other and you live happy. So, masters, we talked about emotional baggage. A big part comes here. So, this is one thing that will tremendously help you if you can combine the two. Practice, see what you feel, experiment, and only your learning will help you the most. So, masters, if you have any question about today's topic or any sharing that you may have, please feel free to, unmute yourself or raise your hand, ask or share.
Hello, Gaurav. This is Praful here. Namaste.
Namaskar.
One of the slides you mentioned that if somebody's behavior is not reflection is yours, right? Is your action, but isn't it a feedback mechanism? Like, if I'm shouting at you and then, or you're saying bad words and then you are getting angry at me or you're responding to me in different way, isn't it an indication or feedback that is this something which I did because of that person is doing something back to me?
So let me understand it clearly, Prafulji. So you are saying you said something to the other person and other person is yelling back at you. Is that correct?
Yeah, responding because of that, because of that. So isn't it that it's that feedback of my own action or reaction of my own action? So is it not a reflection of my own action, whatever they are doing?
So we can look at from two different sides. First, what you are saying, absolutely, I understand. I know it makes sense. Depends how you look at it. If I look from the other person's perspective, right? For a moment, let's forget yourself. Think of the other person. Okay?
Correct.
What do you think the other person should do? Yell or not yell? Now, sorry, let me also say, for the betterment of the other person, for his own health, for his own benefit, what should the person do?
In idealistic way, he it should be kind of somehow come in in calm way he could or she should respond. But
Precisely.
yeah, I cannot control that, and I shouldn't be controlling that, how that other person is responding.
Exactly. So that's the same thing that what that point was in the slide. Now you can flip the example and you say, if someone says something to you, what should you do? Like you said, calm. You don't have to reflect the negativity, because forget the other person. You are hurting yourself. You cannot control other people. You can only control your response.
Got it. But shouldn't in my personal life, I'm trying to find the right balance where I take other person's behavior or action as a feedback and correct myself, or take it personally, right? So that's where I'm trying to understand and get some guidance and experience. How do we decide? Because I know it's a very dynamic thing, but still
Yeah.
some guidance, and experience helps.
So I'll give you one example to help you there, because now the first point is clear. So now I can come to the second, which is exactly your point. So for you to understand or appreciate any incident without any biasness, without, any kind of your own imposement or any kind, just pause for a moment. Even if your example, you said something inappropriate and the other person is reacting, yelling, whatever that may be, doesn't matter, right? You reflect, what did just happen? So you may say, I could have used some other words, or my tone could have been different, or my body language could have been different, whatever the example indicates. Okay. And that is your learning for next time, what to do differently. What in this example you may be required to do is, don't take personally. Your reaction means the reaction from the other person, what you received. Okay, you understood because you said something inappropriately, so that's why you got that response. End of the story. Forgive yourself, move on. Every incident, if you think positively, peacefully, calmly, after a while, whether after 15 minutes, after 1 hour, 1 day, doesn't matter, you can find either something you could do differently, or that, okay, you did nothing wrong, it was just the other person who did whatever it did. Then forgive the other person, you move on. Don't take personally, move on. But the point here is, identify what could be done differently. If you did something, like we said, next time choose some different words. Maybe you wanted to say something, but the choice of words were such that the other person got confused and understood differently. Then you can improve on your communication. If what you said was all appropriate facts, you may still learn that, if the same thing, nothing wrong with what you said, but I would have said, say, in person to the person, then that person would have behaved differently, may have accepted, yeah, he or she made a mistake and all. But because it was a group setting, the person couldn't accept his or her fault, and so the person was yelling and all that. This is just an example. So even if the other person's fault in your mind, we can still find something slightly different way of doing things that can avoid that argument or that whatever. And this mechanism, if you practice over and over, you will avoid a lot of arguments, a lot of negativity in your life, and you will stay blissful more and more moments, time, days, week, whatever.
Got it. Thank you.
Welcome, Prafulji. Any other master, any question or sharing?
Gaurav already put it in the chat. There was a point regarding acceptance, and then a thin, delicate balance between love and attachment, something that was so the second bullet point on a slide. Just wanted you to elaborate on that.
So The second point on that slide, we are talking about your love and attachment. In that slide itself, that's why I went again. But the point is, the true love, when we are saying it is all about control, means am I giving respect to the other soul, accepting as is, or I'm trying to impose my own thought process. How to stay in that stage is doesn't matter good or bad, because obviously generally it is bad when we say, hey, you don't listen to me, right? That means the person is not going as per your wish. So the point is, you have to accept as is, means others person's perspective. For example, you may tell a child, hey, don't drink that juice, too much sugar. That's your perspective. The child doesn't understand that. Too young. Child says, I love that juice, I love the taste, I love the sugar. Right? You can never win an argument in that stage. You can keep yelling at the child and child can keep yelling back or crying or whatever, because your both perspective are on different extreme. And this example you can apply in many different scenarios, and you will get the same root cause, that perspective is different of two people who are arguing. So the question is how to overcome this. Even in this example of juice, either you influence the wisdom or the knowledge of the other person, right? Child doesn't know what sugar level means, child doesn't know this. So right now you allow the child, but when the argument is over, when the person has calmed down, educate the person that, hey, this is what sugar, this is what it does to your health. Do you really want this? And later on, slowly you may achieve the knowledge based on which you are making the right decision in your mind, the other person can also make. But this need investment of time and energy. And in today's world, everybody wants instant gratification. And that is the main issue. We don't have time, even within our family, to spend to, go this step-by-step process. Colleagues, same scenario. They may expect something which may be inappropriate. Oh, even if you work 10 hours, they may expect, why don't you work 12 hours and give me my work based on the deadline, even if the deadline is inappropriate. So a proper communication that, hey, you gave me today, this is so many hours work and you expect it to be done in, this, how is that possible? You tell me. If you do not communicate and you are angry from your side, the other person is angry, you are not delivering work, both are upset. You are not, probably in this example, theoretically, you are not understanding the other person got same timeline from maybe his or her superior. So he had no choice. He just, passed it on to you. But when you communicate and the other person says, hey, I understand it is inappropriate, but this is the reason. Now, all of a sudden, you know the reason. You will at least understand that it is not his or her fault. Even if you accept or not, that's separate. But at least you will not be upset about this person, because now it is not his or her choice. This is the reason why it happened. And then whatever you do. So this is the main thing. First, accept as is, unconditional. When we change our thought process, we will invariably find the root cause, the reasons. And slowly, not everything at once, slowly and slowly, so you may start with 5% of the topics that now you are not getting upset with, because now you understand other person. Then in your life, that 5% will become 10, then 20, then 30, then 40. And over a period of time, nothing will disturb you, because now you have more and more understanding why the person may have behaved this way. You understand that it is his or her problem. Why should I impact my health? And your reaction will be different, because now you are detached from that behavior and you are non-interfering in others people that do this way, my way or highway. You will be happy. You will be healthy.
Okay. Thank you, Gaurav.
Welcome.
Thank
you.
Just adding to this particular discussion, and you also mentioned about that, we need to like one time, two time, we can pursue somebody doing something in some way. But when things are serious little bit in nature, like let's assume I am like somebody's taking drugs, or somebody's wasting time with opposite sex and all that, right? And we know that it is not in the best interest of that person or that child, and we tried one time, two time, but it is not working, right? So I understood you said, we have to try different way, but where is that fine line where you say, hey, you tried till this much, and after that let it be their own soul plan, versus you thinking, hey, should I give up or don't give up, so these are different dimensions I'm talking about, and trying to find the right balance and trying to seek some guidance around that.
So, Prafulji, this is a great point, because I guess a lot of people may find this thing, situation in their life in different ways, whether personally, professionally, or otherwise. So there comes a point where certain things can be accepted as just choice. For example, which career to choose, which subjects to choose. It is very mild in terms of harmness I'm talking about. But the
Correct.
example that you are referring is if it is really much higher, the harm is much higher to the person or the society, then how to deal? So if a person is taking drug, is different than just choosing a subject, right? So when it comes to a level where you have to decide the safety, security of whether the family, the neighbors, or society in general, then obviously you will take the appropriate action, because you do live in the society and you have to consider both, right? Now, still in that scenario, you do see that why within your family this is happening. Is there any learning for me? Could this have been my own soul plan? And you try to see, is there any indication for you? Okay. You may get something, you may not get anything. Everything is possible. Most important thing is there anything which you can say, yes, it is repeating and with higher intensity? Then you know it is linked with your soul plan. So, for example, it could have been that, okay, your child is giving always trouble. First, it was a little bit small, naughtiness in the school, complaints coming. Then it became a little bigger, and now it is much bigger. Then you say, okay, it is increasing intensity. It is giving me this. Of course, you may do what you need to do. Say in the worst case, the law enforcement agency or any kind of thing that you may need to contact or take help, medical help, whichever way, that needs to be. But at the same time, don't leave it there. That's all I'm saying. Keep an eye that is that something for you to learn. Learn in the sense that is there a message for you? If there is, then you have to deal with your own, whatever that indicating. So in the example we talked about, first some just complaint from the school, and then bigger complaint, and now this. You have to see that why, what is it? Are you over controlling? Are you, like, there could be 1,000 different ways the learning could be. And only the person can see, yeah, the common theme between these three is because whether you were very controlling person, or whether you were totally, you let go the person, you did not care, okay, do whatever you want, I don't want to interfere. You were on the very extreme of detachment, kind of. Both cases are possible, right? So try to understand if there is a message for you. You do your part, and of course his plan will continue parallelly, and whatever needs to be done, whether through law enforcement, whether through medical, or whether your personal family, of course both may go in parallel.
Got it. Thank you.
Welcome. These percentage wise, maybe 10-20% that mostly people will face, but I know when you face such thing, it becomes very challenging and tricky.
And moreover, then the other thing which haunt us, the guilt of which, whether we should give it up, we call it as a give up, or yeah, we know, yeah, we understood, yeah, this is the soul plan, now we have to live with it, or you have, that's what the sometimes at the end that it comes to that, and we shouldn't also live in a guilt that I didn't do anything which I should have done or not done, So
Yes, and that's why, to really answer that, we need more information. But one thing is for sure, it is a tricky thing. There is a very thin line, and certainly you need to dig more all the way your life or the other person and try to see when it is really enough to say, okay, this is up to where I go. But typically, a couple of examples like we talked about, you say once, twice, but you don't go every day. That means it won't work. And of course, understand what it means for you or the family, because it may not be your soul plan, it may be your spouse soul plan, or maybe someone else in the family, maybe siblings, right? So it could be from multiple directions.
Yeah, got it.
Thank you. Yes, Vindhya ji, please unmute yourself.
Hello, Gauravji. Thank
Namaskar.
you. I just wanted to reflect on what you shared today. As you keep giving us these pointers, and I've been thinking, and you rightly said this is a process that we have to keep practicing. It's a pattern. So I've seen that in the previous situation when I was in India, it worked. Whatever you said, all these same things: non-detachment, non-interference, and other soul plans and everything. So it worked, and it was good. So, but every situation it comes back, and again, when I don't practice, I see the difference, and I'm trying to see how to make that a pattern. And you're saying the same things again and again. So either I have to make maybe a chart or something, keep these things in front of me to remind myself again and again till it becomes internalized, that this becomes a process for me in every situation. So, or is there a better method? I don't know, but I can see it will work. And even the situations when you explain, like with examples, like you're saying, if you're giving care to someone and you feel like, oh, why am I doing so much? It may be the other person's soul plan to receive the care. And you give such detailed, extreme examples too. And so it doesn't matter what the situation, it is the other person's soul plan. And the thing that caught my, that was the first part. The second part was that really caught my attention today was that about love and other things that you talked. And we get so involved with others and keep getting confused that that's our soul plan maybe. And in that we forget ourselves and who we are, what our purpose is. And I keep telling you, I'm not finding my purpose. Now I feel maybe that is what I'm getting so involved in others, like parents or husband or children. Now children are not so much, but others. And maybe that is the reason I can't see me and my purpose. And slowly, maybe that's what I need because that caught my attention today. And say, like every day I feel empty. What's my purpose? But I'm so caught up in what's going around me in others' lives. So I feel that opened up a lot of things for me. I have to work on that. So that's what I wanted to come.
Thank you. You shared both your learning and your sharing in the sense of experience. So yeah, thanks for both. And it is tricky, but yes, once we practice anything, right? Typically we say 40 days. So it helps.
Hello, Gauravji. This is
Sorry.
Smita here.
So yes, sorry, Smitaji, I'm just completing the response. I was about to sneeze.
No problem. Sorry.
So
I did interrupt. Then you continue. Sorry. I'll talk later once you
Yeah.
finish.
So you continue, like we say 40 days, like you said, Vindhyaji, that, okay, at what time it can become your second nature or whatever. So 40 days, typically mandala, what we call it, right? The point is keep following the process, and you had a very good idea to jot down, like, like a step cheat sheet. So if you put it on your refrigerator, just like vision board, those steps will go in your mind, just like vision board. Right, and steps will be just 4, 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, whatever in your words. No,
Yes.
kind of. So then you will say, okay, even if you need or not, those steps you will see every day. And then when the situation comes, your mind will go 1, 2, 3, step 1, 2, step 1, 2, 3, And when your mind gets tuned, because what happens if we go back to quantum physics session, the neurons will start joining together, making a circuit. And when neurons form a circuit, that is the initial part of you being a different person in your thought process. Now, you do over and over. So this circuit will become stronger and stronger. The bond between the neurons will become stronger and stronger as you repeat the process over and over and over. At the same time, your old behavior will become weaker and weaker and weaker, the way you used to behave or act previously, because you are not using that circuit anymore. So that the chemical bond will become weaker, and over a period of time that will give away because you're not using that circuit. So you have two gains. One, new habit, which is positive. Second, you're releasing the energy which was used in bonding a circuit which you don't need anymore. So it's just a matter of time. 40 days mandala, we just say, but yeah, keep doing it. Steps as a vision board, another very good example, because even if you don't need, you see the steps which will help you later on.
Yeah, just that, don't take anything personally. That is such a strong thing. And usually we tend, even the example the other person was giving about drugs, I mean, I too experience, and all kids experiment with, especially boys are more this thing. And I went through, but at that time, if I felt guilty and I felt I am not giving them proper guidance and things. I went through hell, but the time has passed and they've grown up. And I'm sure whatever they do, they know what is good for them now. So once I'm behind, I'm crossed it, I can look back and say what I did was wrong. So I'm saying all these things definitely help, and you don't take it personally. You don't feel the guilt of it. Then you can handle the situation definitely better. But it's such a emotional turmoil at that time because they're your children. So I just wanted to take that. Thank you.
Absolutely, you're right. Okay. Thank you, India ji. So yes, Smita ji, please continue your.
Yeah. No, I totally resonate with what, was it Dipti ji that was talking?
India.
Yeah, so totally resonate with that. And again, even I feel the same way what she says, that it's regarding consistency of practice. I have managed that over the past 2-3 years. And that was one of the reasons to come to meditation, that I was unable to handle my emotional baggage. And I did come, and I feel I've come a long way. And I practice that with my learners, with my colleagues, at home, friends, and every time. But sometimes I don't interfere anything, but in an episode or an issue that has happened, when they come you meet them after a long time and you stay with them for a few days. I don't know why those things keeps coming. Is it that I've not forgiven them totally or something? I don't know. But I'm unable to do that for that very moment, like 2 days, 3 days. I don't know why. So this is what I felt over the summer, that I have been a good person. Why I'm suddenly changing and behaving differently when I am in, within with those people's company in 2 days or 3 days, where the old things keep coming. I just don't feel that I'm able to do it consistently.
See, the whole process, what happens is your soul plan, and you say, example, you change, you go to the right means the correct path. Now the soul needs to really be sure. So it will give you a situation where you still go back to the old scenario and you have to make a decision. You're going towards the correct side, or you get stuck in the bad old behavior again. Only when you again take the courage and the right decision to be on the correct side, now those bonding, as I was mentioning about the neuron circuits and all, are so strong, now they cannot pull you back in the old habits.
So it's your strong courage and willingness to stick to the right path and let not that overpower you.
Correct. So the soul has courage, 2 steps. First step, to overcome that. And second step, you are just coming back to that to validate that I'm moving in the correct direction. And then you will bounce back again in the correct direction. You will not go negative, but you will come to a 0 level and then bounce back, to confirm that you have truly understood, and it's not kind of a fluke that you are going in this direction. So those people or scenario will come in your life which will try to pull you.
Thank you, Gauravji. Probably
Yeah.
it's
Welcome.
practicing. Maybe you, as you suggested, having a vision board to keep you reminding you of your daily, what you call, daily habit of continuing and not letting it go. Thank you.
Okay. Welcome. So Sunita ji, you had a question about how to control anger. See, anger is nothing but it is reaction, your reaction, and how you react is all depends on your thought process, your emotions and everything. So anger is just a reflection of many things. You have to work on accepting people as is, like we talked today, detachment, non-interference. Your anger level will automatically come down. Why we are angry? Because we want everything the way we want, right? Something doesn't happen the way I want, I'm angry. I applied for 10 interviews, I did not get a job, I'm angry. Others get promotion, I did not, I'm angry. So it is just my reaction of my environment. When I'm working on myself, my anger will come down. I may still not get a promotion in this example case, but I may not be angry. I understand. I take as is. So what will happen is my health, my inner peace, everything will be better in this example, in spite of the environment is still negative. So that will help me in taking the right decision. And then I'll be able to get, but maybe that was my soul plan. I will not get promotion so that I improve on what? Whatever the case may be. In this case could be anger. So then it will bring the right environment inside you where you will get promotion, you will get whatever you are trying to do. So anger is never a direct thing, it's a reflection, it's our reaction. So we have to work internally. Okay. Shashiji, yeah, please unmute yourself.
Namaskar, Gauravji.
Sure.
Just a question. In relationships, if someone close to you has certain expectations from you, you want to fulfill their expectations to some extent, but you feel that you are unable to fulfill 100%. And what if their sole plan is to receive, will they make me do what I don't want to do?
See, does not matter what you do. You can never make a person 100% satisfied, or you can never make 100% of the people around you satisfied. So that goal, one should be very careful if that's the goal we have. Whether the person is 90% satisfied, you are happy with, or 85%, it's up to you. How will you decide whether it is right percentage or it is enough or not? Just keep thinking, what are those things that the other person is asking you to do? And when we say to do, means to change. One is, okay, you like doing something, like example, you like cooking. Somebody expect you to cook. You say, no problem, I like it, I'm doing it. But then somebody wants, say, for example, you want to do a job, other person says, no, don't do. And you say, okay, because you don't want, I will not do. So now you're doing something that you do not want, but you are doing just to please the other person, or because you cannot say no to the person, you cannot express your wish. Maybe the other person doesn't even know that this is exactly what you want to do. So whatever that is, only you know. And you try to analyze that the person is expecting 1, 2, 3, 4 things from me. And out of these 4, I don't like this, or this. Is there a common factor? And if it means you have to stand your ground, if you have to express, if you have to communicate better, that is the issue. Then you say, okay, maybe I planned all this so that I improve my communication, or I improve that I can stand my ground, I can express my wish, my opinion. Whatever the case may be, it won't be everything. There may be 1 or 2 items. Find those out and start improving those. Without being disrespectful, you can improve. And then you will say the other person slowly and slowly will change. And that will be the indication that you are on the right path. Change in the sense, first, if the person wanted a lot of things for you to do against your wish, now that list is dropping. Rather than 8 items, now it's 6, now it's 4, now it's 2. That means you are going in the right direction. Continue working and moving forward.
Thank you, Gaurav.
Welcome. Any other question, masters? Or sharing before we end the session today? So, masters, next, we will be Ashish. Yeah, please unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Very good evening.
Sir, my question is how to overcome repeating patterns.
Okay. Now, repeating patterns with increased intensity is the number 1 item that you should be working on. Okay. Repeating pattern with the same intensity means at least you have some time, you are okay, you continue working on it, that's okay. So if it is increasing intensity, don't waste more time, start working on it. Okay. So this is number 1 thing.
But how to overcome, how to rework on it, I could not understand. Means I suppose I am not getting success, right? I try to work out what are the loopholes. I try to come out of that setback and then try again. Again, I am not successful. Again, I am not successful. Then I fail to understand why it is happening to me.
If any failure is happening over and over again in one particular thing, then certainly it's an indication. We have to just see where are we failing, right? Sometime, we were talking about example of interviews, example of some other thing. It could be a student applying university, whatever. So it's a thin line between should I give up or I have to keep working on it. If meditation, spirituality is not new to you, you have been doing it, it's a very good idea, full moon, new moon, or otherwise in your meditation, ask this question to the universe and say, give me some hints. Because certainly there is some indication, you just don't know what indication. If out of those examples, you could have some analogy that, okay, every time I'm missing because of what? Every time someone else is selected because they are more qualified, or even if they are not because of something else, or what is it that you can find as a common factor because of which you are failing? Only thing, be careful when you do this analysis is sometime just the video that we saw, the moonwalking gorilla, the answer is in front of us. We are not able to see it because we are so much into our biasness and our, me, or ego, or the way the brain and the mind and the body works. So sometime just loosen up, introspection, and try to see genuinely, because the mind and the body will take you there. No, nothing wrong with you. It's the other person. And that's why we don't see that gorilla, which is right in front of us. So try one of these ways. See if you find a connection or not. If you do not find, if you can have some more details, then yes, next week will be on these recap, question answers, and all those things only. Then we
Sir,
can.
sir, if you permit and can give me 5-10 minutes after session or someday later, I want to talk to you.
Sure, we can do that. That's not a problem. And we'll go from there. That will certainly be possible, but this will be the mechanism. Okay. You can just message me and then we can on the WhatsApp and then we can fix up the time. Okay.
Sir, I have already messaged you today morning.
Oh, okay. Then I will see. Maybe
Please.
I have not come
Yeah,
to that point, but
right.
certainly I'll get back to you.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Very welcome. So, masters, we will have our session tomorrow, and we will go over a couple of the next interesting topics to help you overcoming your emotional baggage. And then next week will be your doubts, questions, or helping you up. So please prepare what you want, where you are getting stuck, things like that for next week. You will have one full week to practice and all before we end. Ultimately, you should be able to help yourself with your emotional baggage. That is the purpose of this whole session. Otherwise, what is the point? So please feel free to bring your stuff forward. And also next week, share your experience, whatever you have improved, how, if any change in the format could have helped you better, or what worked in your case, because that will help in the following session. Whenever we do the next batch, we will put all those improvement ideas so that we can help more and more people. And people in watching on YouTube, as I mentioned before, yeah, please feel free. You can ask your question too, put it in the comments, and we'll get back to you. So thanks, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Sorry to interrupt you. What do we have for tomorrow? Could you repeat? I was listening, but I still missed it.
No, you didn't miss it because I never mentioned it.
Okay. I was thinking, did you say anything? What we
I
have
want the people to come and figure it out.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
No, we will talk about the 6 stages of illness, diet, which is a big part of emotional baggage, and of course, the meditation part.
Okay. Thank you so much. Look forward to it. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay. Bye, everyone.